What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to take a look at an updated bike from Wallke. This is the X3 Pro Max. Comes in 4 color options: blue, black, gray. This is the khaki, and it retails at $2,099, but I've seen it as low as $1,849 if you use the discount code on their website. The X3 Pro Max has dual 750 watt motors. Each wheel peaks at 1,400 watts, giving you 2,800 watts of available power at your disposal. The motors are fed by dual battery packs, a 48 volt 22 amp hour inside the frame, and a 48 volt 22 amp hour inside the rear rack for a combined capacity of 44 amp hours of battery pack. It's got Logan hydraulic brakes with 4 piston calipers, 203 rotors. There's an adjustable front suspension fork, a non-adjustable rear suspension shock. It has 7 mechanical gears and a full twist throttle, headlight, taillight, brake light. It rides on 26 by 4 inch tires with mag wheels, and it all comes in a folding frame design. Now that you know some of the basic features of the X3, let me show you how she performs. First up was to test the claimed top speed. All right, top speed run time. Wallke says this bike does 30 to 33 miles per hour. Let's find out. I'm in all-wheel drive mode. Pedal assist 5, should have full power behind the throttle, no pedaling. So there, we're up to 25. Still climbing. Up to 28, 29. The speedometer's right on with the GPS. Should be pretty accurate. There's 30, 31, 32 into a headwind. It's not bad. I weigh 180 pounds. So if you're a little heavier, maybe you don't hit the 30. But I can go 32. No problem. Now let's see what I can do pedaling. I'm in 7th gear, pedal assist 5. So at 30, I still can pedal. I can still feeling in the pedals. There's 34. So you do get some more when you pedal here. 35. So I mean, easily into the 30s with this bike. I can hit 35 pedaling. And I can still pedal because you got a 52 on the front chainring, which is pretty big. And I can hold 34 all day long. It's like, nice. So the 30 plus mile per hour speed was definitely confirmed. And note that when you unlock the bike like I did, you can achieve that speed using throttle only, making this a little bit beyond that class 3 designation. So check your local regulations, but bringing you to a stop from that speed, you've got 4 piston hydraulic brakes. They're Logan hydraulic brakes, oversized rotors, 203 millimeter rotors. Here's how they felt. All right, now bringing this bike to a stop, you got 4 piston brakes, Logan hydraulic brakes. I'm gonna do an emergency stop for you here. And now. So there you go. I mean, decent amount of bite. I was able to skid the back tire the whole way down that hill. I will say, they're not brakes that you can use like 1 or 2 fingers. You really got to kind of get a hold of them, clamp down to get the real stopping power out of them. They're 203 rotors, so big rotors. I'm thinking maybe if you put a different brake pad on there, a different compound, it might be a little stickier, but they're smooth, they're quiet, they work pretty good, so no problem. I've had Logan before, I like them. So the brakes felt pretty strong. You need strong brakes when you have a bike that's this heavy and also goes that fast. And they seem to get stronger and stronger and have more bite to them the more I used them, so I think I was just part of the break-in process. Now, probably one of the most notable advantages of this bike is the hill climb power from the dual motors. Take a look. Time for a hill climb test. Let's see how strong this bike is. So we test all the bikes right here on the same hill, and we time them going up just to give you some comparisons. Just a run-of-the-mill 750 watt bike will do it like 22 to 25 seconds. The all-wheel drives like this definitely go under 20 seconds. So that's what I'm expecting. This is dual 750 watt motors. So let's give it a go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Wheel spin off the line, but strong. We got 22 amp controllers in this, 48 volt battery. So they say it peaks around 1400 in each wheel. I'd say that's probably pretty close to accurate. And it's crushing this. I mean, time. There you go. That was a great run. I'm gonna say it was probably in the, I felt like a 17, 18 second run. Very strong on the hill. I mean, it didn't skip a beat. Pulled me up that thing. No pedaling, no problem. It's a strong hill climber. So anytime you have dual motors, it almost always translates into great hill climb power. 2 motors is just better than 1. And this one, while we're on the greenway here, we got to try our steep gravel road here off to the right. This thing's pretty challenging, actually. Single motor bikes really struggle. Dual motor should be all right. Let's find out. Come on, baby. Whoa, whoa. Spinning like crazy, baby. Just digging its way. I'm not even helping it. I'm just riding. We'll just let the bike do the work. I was pedaling. I just stopped pedaling because it just started swimming all over with the front wheel spin. But yeah, just I guess road like that, don't pedal. Just let the bike do all the work. Gosh. Yeah, it crushed that. It was kind of hard because I had to navigate around this this branch that fell in the middle of the road here, and all these dry leaves too. Yeah, see that log? Yeah. Swing out around that. That started my spinning, but crushed it. Now, power to climb hills easily is very often what people are specifically looking for out of their e-bike. This one did great with that. I mean, the majority of the hills I went up, I wasn't even pedaling at all. It had great power. And here's a little bit more about how the X3 delivers its power. All right, let's talk a bit about how this X3 puts the power to the ground. The first thing I'll mention is your throttle is linked to your pedal assist. So the amount of throttle power you have depends on the pedal assist level you are in. I'm in 1 right now, so throttle only takes me at 10 miles an hour. If I bump it up to 2, it'll take me to probably 13 or 14. Let's see. It goes up to about 15 miles an hour, and then pedal assist 3, it's going to get even more until you hit that pedal assist 5, where then you're going to get 30 plus miles an hour out of the throttle. And being a dual motor bike, you can select your drive mode. So right now I'm in all-wheel drive, but if I hit the I key, it'll toggle through them all. So hold it for about 2 seconds, put you into rear-wheel drive only. Hold it down again for 2 seconds, you go into front-wheel drive. This one you can actually select any combination of the wheels you want, and hold it one more time, and it'll toggle us back to all-wheel drive mode. So there you go. You can pick whatever you want to be in. I don't know why you need front-wheel drive, really. This thing's very rideable, very manageable power in its power delivery. Smooth, it's strong, but it's not crazy, uncontrollable strong. So I've just been leaving it in all-wheel drive. I haven't really used rear or front at all. All-wheel drive is fine. It's perfectly manageable. All right, let's see if I can show you what the acceleration's like. This is just rear-wheel drive only. 3, 2, 1, go. Pretty gradual takeoff. We'll spin around here, do front wheel. I don't know why people want front wheel, but hey, it's an option on this. Toggle to front. There you go, front wheel only now. 3, 2, 1, go. About the same. I think rear might have felt stronger. But now let's do an all-wheel drive. That'll be our strongest takeoff. Toggle. There we go, all wheel. We'll get up here in the sun so you guys can see me. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. Nice strong takeoff. I like it. It's not crazy with wheel spin. That's always good on all-wheel drives. You got to watch that. You can make it spin if you want. You just got to lean back a little bit or take some weight off of the bars, and you'll see the front wheel. Then you get that spinning acceleration. But it's got a good strong pull. It's not crazy powerful, but it's got plenty of juice. Like I said, it's very controllable, so you can ride around in all-wheel drive majority of the time. I don't even find myself toggling. It takes like 4 seconds to toggle. But good acceleration. Pedal assist on the X3 is a cadence-based system, so you don't got to push on the pedals at all to get power out of this bike. The pedals just have to be rotating. The bike will recognize that and start feeding you power. And each pedal assist level is kind of tied to a mile-per-hour mark. So right now, pedal assist 1, 10 miles an hour is all you get. It'll provide assistance up to 10 miles an hour. If I click it over to pedal assist 2, oh, it takes right off. Good power kick in. It took me to 15, and then it just kind of, the motor cuts out at that point. And then if I want to go faster, I'm going to hang on this time. Pedal assist 3. Yeah, it kicks in good. That takes me up to 20 mile an hour. So there's your class 2 bike. Pedal assist 3, and then so on. So pedal assist 4 will take you up to probably 25 or so, and then pedal assist 5, you're getting full power out of the bike. There's a lot of power in this bike. So I'm going to back it down on the greenway here. I don't want to be going that fast. Let's take it down to 2. 15 miles an hour is good enough for the greenway. So I was pleased with the power delivery in the dual motor system here from Wallke. When you're in all-wheel drive, you don't get a whole lot of front wheel spin. It's not slipping out from under you. So it ends up being a strong acceleration, but it's not unruly. I kept it in all-wheel drive pretty much the whole time I rode it. I like that. It was very rideable. That seemed like the mode to be in. Now, it may not look like it on camera, but this is a pretty large bicycle. Let me show you a couple of things to try to illustrate the sizing of this bike and also what the ride comfort's like. I'm digging the khaki color. I think that was a good color choice. I want to try to give you a feel for the size of this bike. It's a pretty large bike. I'm 6 feet tall, okay? And this thing weighs 112 pounds. It's a pretty heavy bike. That's with both batteries installed. I think it was like 98 with just the frame battery installed. So if you're gonna try to fold this thing and lift it, take the batteries out. that's one thing. The minimum seat height, put this all the way down. That's 34-ish inches. So 6 feet tall and 34-inch seat height. You know, feet flat on the ground, knees bent. I've been riding it much taller than that. Let me give you an idea of my ride position so you can see what that looks like. I had it think about right in there. Somewhere about in there. That seemed to be more comfy for me, getting my toes down. There you go, there's ride position. I feel pretty stretched. My arms are pretty much fully locked out, stretched out. Now, the other thing I think is very important to point out is this. That rear rack, that battery. Once you put that battery pack and that extra rack on there, it clips on with 4 bolts, that's 30, I can't remember. I think it's 36 inches to the top of this, pretty sure. 36 inches from ground to top of that. So you got to be able to get your leg up over 36 inches. I can do it, you know, with ease. But if you're shorter, that could be a struggle because you can't really come through the frame. Yeah, that's even harder. I can't do that. But yeah, you got to be able to get your leg over that rear rack, which as long as you can swing your leg that high, you'd be fine. But keep that in mind. I really think this is a taller person's bike. Here's an idea what the ride position looks like. I got the handlebar stem up like the whole way, straight up in the air to bring the handlebars back to me as far as I can, because the distance from the seat post to like the headset is a little bit longer than normal. It's like an inch or two longer. So when you have this handlebar stem flat out, you're really reaching for the bars. So I might actually remove that, put a different one in there to make it shorter, because I don't like to feel like I'm reaching a lot for the bars. I want to be more upright, but it's not too bad with it straight up in the air like that. There's the rear suspension and the front suspension. I mean, it works pretty good. It's a pretty smooth ride. I would say the rear shock works better than the front fork. The front fork is adjustable. It's not one of those like on and off type deals. You can got some fine-tune adjustment to it. The rear is non-adjustable though, but it works good. At least for me at 180 pounds, you know, it's pretty soft. I will say my butt kind of hits the rear rack when it's at full flex though, because that rear rack is pretty tall with the extra battery in there. So you do feel a bump on your back. It's pretty close. So this X3 is definitely a substantial bike. Everything about this thing just feels heavy duty. All these bars that make up the rear rack are thicker than normal. The derailleur guard's even like thicker and sturdier than normal. The frame feels very sturdy, very thick, heavy duty. The front wheel, the way the front wheel bolts into the fork, had these special reinforcements to really lock it in place securely. So I like that, and it rides nice. Sometimes with these folding frames, the mechanism here will be like a little bit loose and you get a kind of a creaky noise as you ride. This did not have that at all. And yes, it does fold. However, the big folding bikes like this, I always find them a little bit awkward to get them folded up just right. And even then, when you're done, it's still a pretty big bike to try to lift into a car or something. Definitely want to take both the batteries out if you're going to try to lift it. The suspension felt really nice. The rear shock was really soft for me, 180 pounds. If you were a lot heavier, it might be a little too soft. I did notice that when I took this suspension to its full travel, I could feel my back bump against this rack. Like when you're coming down off of a curb, sometimes your back will bump into the rear rack because it's come up so high right here. Hey everyone, Future Brian here with a quick update on the suspension and rear rack situation. I was able to totally eliminate my back and butt hitting on this rear rack by adjusting the mounting position of this rear battery. The top portion of this rack right here and the battery are their own separate piece, and they mount onto this rack using 4 bolts. 2 here, 2 on the other side, and I just slid everything back on the rack all the way to the end of the rack here. So I adjusted the mounting. That gave me a lot of clearance in between the seat and the rack, and my back no longer hits when the suspension fully travels. So if you were concerned about that issue, there's a solution. Just slide the battery all the way to the back of the rack. But other than that, I think the only ride thing I might change would be putting in a shorter handlebar stem just to move those bars back to me a little bit, so it's not quite as far of a reach. I did check a couple of the other fat tire bikes here in the garage, and from the center of the seat post up to right here at the headset was about 22, 23 inches on some of those other bikes. This one's about 25.5 inches. So you got that extra couple inches, which makes you reach out a little bit further on the X3. And I did spend some good time out riding this X3 because I wanted to test the range of the dual battery packs, see how far she could go. Here's how that went. In addition to being dual motors, this bike is also dual battery packs. You got a 48 volt, 22 amp hour in the frame and another 48 volt, 22 amp hour in the rear rack. So 44 total amp hours. We of course got to do a range test for a couple reasons. I want to know how far we can go on a single charge, but I also want to know how long the power will last. Good strong power, how long does that last? How many miles can I get with really strong acceleration? Let's find out. I've already put on about 15 miles today. We're gonna put this into pedal assist 5, so I got full power, and we're gonna run full power. I just wanna see basically how fast I can burn the battery down to nothing. So you'll know, what's the minimum range you're gonna get out of this thing. So while we're out here on the greenway, let's try this. I'm gonna let go of the bars, see how stable it is. Oh yeah, it's pretty locked on. No problem riding no-handed. Doesn't seem to want to fall to either side or kind of wobble or anything on me. That's good. And it's quiet. This thing's really quiet. For being dual motors, both motors are running right now. And even those fat tires, they're not really humming too loud. It's a pretty quiet bike. Yeah, comfy. I mean, the seat's soft. I just wish it wasn't quite as much of a reach to the bars. Other than that, it's pretty comfy. The suspension does a good job. It's pretty quiet. It feels sturdy. I was kind of surprised by that. Being that it's a folding frame, it is a beefy frame on this thing. It feels really sturdy. Well, time for a check-in because I've been burning through battery real quick. I'm about 25, 26 miles in, and I'm down to just 2 little bars on the battery indicator. 2 out of 5, so less than half battery at 25, 26 miles in. There's no voltage indicator, so I don't know exactly. I'm just going off that little battery thing. Who knows how accurate that is, but 25, 26 miles in. I still feel like I got full power though. It doesn't feel like it's lost any power. I can still spin the tire, accelerates pretty smooth. Let's see what it does for top speed. At fully charged, it was doing 31, 32, I think. Let's see if it can still get there. Doing 28, 29. That's capping out right about there. So about 29 now instead of 31. It's going to get to 30. Nope, 29. So it has lost a little bit of step on the top end, but still good power. Still very usable, strong power. All right, here we go. We are 28 miles into our range test. Basically full throttle, full power range test. 28 miles in. We're going to redo the hill climb, see how much power it's lost. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Still a pretty good pull off the line there. It still has good power, even though the batteries are way down. It's climbing this hill with ease. This is going to be similar to the first run, probably. It'd be quite as fast, but... And time. I bet you that was pretty close to the original time. It's got to be under 20 seconds. But even though we're down to just 2 bars still pretty good power. I can't say it's disappointing me on power yet. All right, we took a little break, but we are back on our journey now. I haven't been doing much off-roading on this bike because it's been raining here so much. It's a soupy mess everywhere. So we're doing a little bit of that now just to see how she feels. I gotta tell you, it's pretty good when you, I just have it in pedal assist 1 in all-wheel drive. So you're never getting a whole lot of, you're not going more than 9 miles an hour. It's kind of a low speed crawler at this point. It's doing pretty good. I mean, I'm just in the middle of the woods right now. There's not really a trail or anything. Let's cut through here. I guess we're testing our puncture resistance on these tires as well. How do I get back out of here? I don't know. We're just gonna weave our way best we can. Through here. I love off-roading, the all-wheel drive bikes. You don't have to do anything. I'm just kind of sitting here riding it like a motorcycle. You don't have to pedal. You don't have to help it. Get to the challenging part. You just kind of let the bike Dig. This isn't even really spinning out that much. I'm surprised, even on the slippery pine needles. There you go. Avoided most of the mud. Perfect. All right, well, let's continue on our way. We're about 32 miles in at this point, and I still have what appears to be full power, so on we go. All right, we are 37 miles into this range test. It's officially lost some power, lost a step. Here's the acceleration. It's not bad, but it's not as powerful as it once was. Full charge, we were going, what, 32? Let's see what we can get it up to here on this country road. 27. So it'll still take me to 28 on this flat ground. If you hit any kind of uphill incline though, it fades pretty fast. We're down to 1 battery bar, so we're getting near the end. So we're burning through these batteries pretty quick, but I mean, you can see how we're doing it. Just holding the thing wide open on long roads like this for miles at a time. All right, we've reached the end of our range test. I got to call it there. We've gone 45.5 miles. GPS actually had a little bit longer, about 47 miles. But here's how much power you got. This is full blast, full throttle, all-wheel drive takeoff. Here we go. I mean, the bike still moves under its own power. I could probably squeeze out another mile or two out of this bike. However, you know, with this much power, I think at this point you got to be pulling into your driveway. So I was riding most of the time in the max power level, both motors engaged. I thought 45 miles was a pretty respectable range, and it had really good power. I'd say for the first 35 miles or so, 35, 37, that's about when it started to lose a step on the power. But I mean, really, most people aren't gonna ride like that. You're not gonna ride it just maxed out, all out the whole entire time. So your range is probably gonna vary a lot on how much the rider weighs, and then also the terrain you're on, how hilly it is, how much, and the speed you travel as well. Those are probably the biggest factors that are going to determine range, but at least there's one piece of range data for you to consider. All right, well, I hope you all enjoyed seeing my ride experience with this Wallke bike and that you found this video helpful and informative. I'll put a link to the X3 below in case you want to check it out further. Remember to hit that subscribe button before you go. I'll see you in the next one.